Is programming still worth it in 2024? Short answer, maybe. Yeah, to be honest, I could see both sides of the conversation. So I wanted to share with you as a software engineer, kind of my bird's eye view of why software could actually be more relevant, and then obvious reasons to why it becomes kind of less nominally valuable. Um, so prior to 2024, let's kind of gain context of why software has been so valuable in history, or at least in relevant historic terms, the last 5 to 10 years. Um, the barrier of entry had seen a moment of decrease, where web development, for instance, became a software engineering field that paid a ton of money, where you had to learn some HTML, CSS, JavaScript, and probably other sectors of software engineering became hyper valuable. And the reason is because we're in this new age of data, of information crossing barriers between people, between countries, between locations, right? Where you could text someone from over here and let them know that, hey, your Uber order eats thing is ready, or shipping companies could trans pile and give information to another shipping company to say, hey, your order of cargo is on the way from this port and it's going to this port. So communication and data as a whole became this thing where and I'm still understanding it, even understanding consumer behavior, where companies are pulling data to see, oh, this person's looking at this type of thing, so we can advertise to them this type of product. So this information as a whole, in many different ways, whether it's relationships, whether it's product and services, um, the transgression, or the compilation of, in other words, like collecting information, became incredibly valuable. And the question is it still as valuable when the barrier of entry to do that becomes lowered? In other words, we have these AI tools that tremendously help us in all these things. Um, and that's an honest question. Who kind of knows right now? I don't think there's a direct answer. I think there's a very obvious answer that, yeah, these things probably become less valuable, but there's also, um, at least in terms of learning software, it becomes, in my mind, almost a little bit more valuable, because my mind naturally gravitates to, this could be bias of being a software engineer, but it could also just be intellectual, uh, knowledge of you're embellishing your skill sets. So for instance, when the calculator was invented, it's not like math just upped and and was no longer important. It's like, well, actually, you should learn how to use this tool, this calculator, to embellish your ability to do math. And I'm curious if software and AI, it's becoming a similar thing, where prior to kind of, obviously, AI has always been in the works for the last 50, 60 years. There's been progress of deep learning and neural networks and things like this in the recent years that's really caught people's attention, obviously, with ChatGPT and generative AI. It's certainly been more commercialized and widely available in the last 2 years or so, or last year even. And the point is it more important to learn software now, or less important? And I think there's an argument where it's actually more important to learn software now, because you have to understand these tools. You have to understand what these things are kind of doing. Maybe you don't need the granularities of learning software, but for the average person, the average non-technical person, I do think it actually becomes more relevant to learn software, because it's one of those similar things where you have to understand the tools you're using, or at least to the degree of the tools use. So um I think that could be one bread trail of why learning software is really important right now. I'll give an example. So if you're a business owner, you have multiple things in your business that you need to worry about. So you have user acquisition, customer acquisition, right? So you have like advertising, marketing, kind of brand image, things like this. Whether you're prospecting users, whether they're coming to you, you have to handle customer acquisition in one way or another. Then you have some sort of product, whether it's you're a shipping company, whether you're a SaaS product, whether you're a content creation company, whether you're creating music, who knows what your company is, whether it's heavy equipment, housing goods, services, products, plumbing. You have your actual product in the middle here, and then you have kind of your back end of business operations, where the business operations are whether you're storing customer data, you're handling payments, you're handling subscriptions, you're handling customer issues. So these are kind of my bird's eye view of, and I think these three buckets kind of break down even more in a business, but you have some sort of prospecting, you have some sort of product or service, and then you have some sort of way you're handling all that data of these two things. You're kind of connecting the data between those two things. So whether like I said, whether it's payments, problems, or communications and things like that. And I think all of these can be embellished with the tools of AI. And I would argue every single company, there's probably something in those three buckets that again break down to even more. Because again, if you look at the marketing and customer acquisition bucket, it's like, well, it breaks down to even more things. Well, now you need content. Now you need brand creation. Now you need brand identity. Now you need um, outreach. Now you need email marketing. Now you need campaigns. Now you need like data for these things, right? Then the middle thing, your product. Let's say you're a SaaS company. Well, it becomes very obvious on why learning software would probably embellish your SaaS company, right? Whether you're building an AI thing, whether you're building a project management solution, whether you're building a YouTube channel, obviously, like these buckets break down even more. And then likewise with the back end tooling of things, well, it's probably good to learn Power BI. It's probably good to learn AWS and understand how infrastructure and architecture works with data. It's probably good, even if you're in some archaic company where maybe you're not using these tools, it's probably good to organize your data, whether you're taking invoices in, like cargo companies. I don't imagine they're the most um, up to spec with the tech, if you will. But it's like if you're dealing with shipping containers and hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars of product being moved, like it's probably not going to hurt to have a database understanding where all those things are going. So I think in whatever business, because a business is just kind of those three buckets tied together in an effective way. I think whatever business you're in, you're probably going to benefit from learning software. So the question is though, how much and when should you stop learning software? So I don't know. I think in 2024, I think software becomes even more relevant, especially with AI, because even the business model of AI, right? When you have large language models, you need people to build the AI, you need people to maintain the AI, you need people to secure the AI, you need people to educate other people on AI and large language models or whatever your service might be. So I don't know. I don't think AI becomes this defining thing for software engineers or this nail in the coffin. I think it does for the engineers who are unwilling to change. Now, I believe the engineering role, in my humble opinion, you now becoming a business engineer is probably more so important than a software only engineer. Because if all you do is, oh, I just build front end components, well, yes, AI is going to eat you alive because an AI could do that much faster and much more significant. Yeah, you still need someone to kind of guide it and tell it what to do, and but end of the day, like you could see the significant progress on AI. There's no denying it, right? And just the natural tools that are out there. And same with backend. If all you do is I'm just a backend engineer, AI is going to eat you alive too. AI can build out data models and many to many relationships so quick and so promising and so well, you know. But if you're the engineer who says, "Oh, I'll put those two things together, and then I'll also build tests around it, and I'll also build infrastructure around all of that. Now you're becoming larger than the AI. Now you're still becoming a business engineer. So I don't know if anything's really changed in software. At least when you start boiling down the granularities, because yeah, as I was mentioning, I don't think that AI and these things are going to destroy engineering. I think if anything, it becomes um, more relevant for this new position. I would argue is the business engineer, the guy who understands technology and understands application to the business from a totalitarian sector, um, or from a totalitarian position rather. So someone who says, "Oh no, you need marketing. Well, let me help you build these tools that are all." However they're built, whether it's through other engineers, whether it's through AI, whether it's through Stack Overflow stuff, but you need to understand how these tools are useful for whatever pillar in your business that needs to be augmented or embellished. So does software as a whole become less important or more important in 2024? I think it's still up for debate. But I wouldn't just learn one thing within software. I do know that I wouldn't stick to just one area of software. I think that's probably a dangerous thing to do. From my bird's eye view perspective, it becomes more valuable to learn software. And I'm telling you firsthand as well, because I'm using AI tools and I'm embellishing my own life with it. I'm embellishing my own skill set. For instance, I'm building this project management system that maybe, 2 years ago, it would probably take me a year to develop. But because of the advent of AI, it's shaved off development time by 9 months, and I'm able to literally crank out an entire SaaS product that is powerful, it's useful, and onboarding real users because of the help of AI. Certainly a lot of help from friends and software engineering friends as well. And hopefully dedicating enough hard work to it that it's been able to do that, or been able to grow and be a useful product. But end of the day, it's like AI did not hurt that process. It actually helped generate opportunity for me, which then helps, with other interviews. Like I had a senior engineering interview with Yeti and Samsung, and it's like, would I have got those if I wasn't able to build that SaaS product? Well, I was only able to build that SaaS product because of maybe a little bit of the influence of AI. So, is software still relevant because of AI? It's like I think so. I still think it is. Um, Now I think from a company standpoint, it certainly becomes this question of, hey, do I need 10 engineers to work on this one thing, or can I fire four of them and cut the overhead, or fire six of them even and cut the overhead and just have four really good engineers? Yeah, I think that does become a business question, but you could also look at it the other way. If I have 10 really good engineers and I teach them all how to use AI really well, they can now produce more and more material. They can produce even more value for the company at a higher rate and a higher breadth of the company that, you know, maybe to increase your output as a company as a whole, you just educate your engineers more on AI or have them specialize in a few AI things. So is software still relevant? I think yes, because you still have to have people who build AI. You still have to have people integrate it with your systems. You still have to have people who know how to navigate those things and do it precisely. You still have people who need to do cybersecurity. You still have people who need to monitor the data and structure the data. You still need people for all these things. So is it as important though? Yeah, so I don't know. I don't know if it's as important or not, but I don't think getting, at least from a nominal standpoint, if you just learned one part of software, I think that would be dangerous. But the collection of learning these individual bits of software and also the individual bits of business, and then learning how those things can embellish each other. Oh, I use this software to build this part of my business better. Oh, in this part of my business, I built it better because I'm using these tools or accumulation of ideas or of software. I mean, I think AI just pours gasoline on the whole process for the people who are understanding it. But yes, you cannot be singular anymore as an engineer. That is definitely gone. You cannot do that. If you're just a testing engineer, well, AI can spin up tests like crazy. So if you're just a front end engineer, well, AI could build out front end components like crazy. So I think what's important is you need to have a good um, roadmap on how to navigate these things, and I will absolutely be building that. And then that's why I think my channel becomes even more relevant because I want to teach these things from a bird's eye viewpoint of not just how to become a front end web developer, but how to become a senior engineer, how to build your own SaaS products, how to integrate these things with Bert like much larger concepts than just like, oh, let's learn some HTML and CSS. It's let's learn some HTML and CSS so we can get you guys on some TypeScript, JavaScript, Next.js server side rendered frameworks, and then even embellish beyond that to Lambda functions, serverless actions, large infrastructure deployment, stress testing a system where it could have 1,000 requests a second and doing a little bit of security as well, where it's like in tons of other stuff, and that's where a channel like this becomes even more relevant, in my opinion, for software engineers. Because if you're just following the roadmap blueprint of how do I become a front end web developer, it's like you need more. You need more. You need to be able to build a front end system that also integrates with AI. Like I've built a tensor Flow API that integrates with a front end that can identify which body parts are on screen. So it uses computer vision. If we had the application loaded right now, it would literally tell me that my hand is on the screen. If I showed it, it would show all the body parts. It'd say arm, shoulders, ears, all that stuff. But because all these things are on screen, but you need to be able to do stuff like that, I think, as an engineer and in 2024 and moving forward, because it is a different landscape than what it was 2 years ago. Because the whole context of how I introed this video of why software was important is because we're becoming more efficient at moving data, at communicating data, whatever the data might be, and that efficiency just got brought even closer. So you have to be able to identify the business operations around that. Otherwise, yes, like you're not a relevant software engineer because ChatGPT can outdo you, or previous built tools can outdo you. So, so I think that's the entire. Uh, well, I don't know. There could definitely be more about it. So maybe I'll build a part two right now